Good afternoon. My name is Indiana.
And I'm David.
So we are working on our vast mini challenge 1 project for our visualization class. So this is our demo. So you can go to our github.io where we're hosting it. So currently right now we have this time series graph and these category selectors. So we'll mess with those first. So this shake intensity, this card, this title is essentially it's essentially the name of the category for the reports that users can send in. So they can send the amount of damage they perceive on shake intensity, sewer, power, all of these categories. And this graph is showing which reports have been shown over the time frame.
It's like each report, the value that they send in is averaged with all the reports that happen within 30 minutes in that same neighborhood, for that same category, and then shown here. That way we don't get basically unreadable data.
Mm-hmm. So to make that a little more readable, so let's click on power over here. So this is pretty easy to see, but it's pretty clumped together. So let's compare it to another one. So right now we're looking at Palace Hills. Let's also look at Broadview, which is blue. And if we hover over Broadview, we can get a little better view on that. Let's grab one more. Perfect. So right now when we are scrolling, when we hover over this time region, this black bar that shows up, that is actually giving the intensity maps on the bottom row the data between those time frames, but we can actually individualize our time frame. So let's click right here, and let's click right here. So the graph now zooms in and updates the scale, and now when we hover over it, the intensity map will update for those time frames as well. Same thing we can do over here. What do you want to say?
It actually just updates the x-axis. We didn't do any changing to the y-axis just because it's
the intensity is always from 0 to 10 for the reports.
It's also kind of weird because like we do have it scaling to the minimum maximum for the graph overall, but we don't have it scaling to the minimum maximum y for that specific region.
Mm-hmm. So even though we did a zoom, we could still get rid of one of these neighborhoods and we could pop another one in there. Or if we wanted to see for this time frame, maybe look at buildings, we can have a little update for us for that. So I don't really want to click on all those, so let's click reset. Let's do select all. Let's get some crazy data. So over here we've got we've clicked to the select time frame, but we haven't done escape. So what escape will actually do is nothing. Why does that work?
Because it already reset when we click reset.
Oh, so it's already zoomed out.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, it's already zoomed out.
I see. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm going insane. So down here we just have, so essentially we wanted to show Tommy Dang a change over time, but also over different categories. So when we scroll over the different time, we can actually see the events occurring on these maps down here. And because of the beautiful pre-processing and database organization from David, we were actually able to get these queries down to super quickly so that it doesn't have any problems going on a laptop for showing this data.
Or even a phone.
Or a phone. It also works on phone. And then down here we've just got a cute little scale to show you, so our intensity goes from 0 to 10 as you can see on this y-axis. It goes from 0 to 10 also here. So the lightest, for example, these really light whites over here, those are going to be closer to 0 and 1. And if you can see, they're becoming some very dark spots. And those become, like for example, for power right there on this neighborhood. Actually, let's reset. Let's go to this neighborhood, power. You can actually see it goes straight up to 10, and then if you see at the map at the bottom, that red gets super dark down here. So yeah, that's about everything for our application, unless you have something more you want to talk about, David?
Yeah, should we talk about trends?
We could do that.
So like one thing that we definitely kind of notice, if you kind of look at like shake intensity over here and look at more specifically these big intervals, you'll notice that some of these lines just kind of like cut out, and we're kind of guessing that some of these lines are just from bigger neighborhoods or like rural areas, places that wouldn't necessarily like have as many people that could possibly report stuff, even though they were more heavily impacted. Also, we think that over the time frame, over these like specific time frames, you actually see possibly a drop in reports because if you hover over this, you actually don't see anything on that map right there for Old Town. the thing is that you'll see different data on the graph. It just kind of extrapolating those values right there. They're not actually, there's no reports for these few hours. It's not like people are on their phones reporting all of this, even though the intensity is theoretically somewhere between a 6 and a 3 range. So we just found that kind of interesting there.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting. I showed I thought Wilson's Forest super dark on the power was super cool. How the average was completely a 10. But yeah, that wraps up our application. Tommy Dang, if you're watching this, I hope you like the application. And thanks. Talk to you guys later.